everyone, and welcome to the third MOOC of the series Music and Geography. So far, we have visited Indonesia in the first MOOC, and we saw some gamelan music, and we tried out some kotekan. Then went to Cuba, where we saw some bata patterns, and we tried them out. I hope you tried them as well, and even more, I hope you played with other people to see how these patterns work together and how beautiful polyrhythms you can create and sensation of feeling, as well as the other instruments that I've talked and showed, and including the clave. So today we take a flight from Cuba and we come to the area in the east side of Europe. And mainly we'll see music that comes from Greece, and which is also have many similarities with music from the Balkans, music from Turkey, from Cyprus, and even Middle Eastern music to a certain extent. So, regarding the Greek music, of course, there was, as you all know, there was ancient Greece, and there was also Pythagoras, who created the monochord, but that's a different tradition. Of course, they are related, but that's way back in time. The music that is currently known and people play and sing and dance in Greece is music that has some elements found in Byzantine music from the Byzantine Empire, and of course developed throughout the years through the Ottoman Empire and other influences from other countries. And that's why the music is shared in this region very much, because there's a lot of interchange of culture and people and everything else. So music is part of this, of course. There are differences, of course, even from one village to the other, but now we'll focus more on the similarities. And the aspect that we will look more into detail, it will be rhythm. And you will see later on why I have chosen this subject to talk about. But first of all, before going into rhythm, let's see some of the musical instruments that they use in Greece, and also some other that they use in other countries that I mentioned before, mainly in Turkey and in other Balkan countries. So this is a list of various instruments that you can find in Greek music, and also depending on the area the music is being played, has been developed, you can find different instruments. For example, we have lyra, which is a string instrument. It's very famous in Creta, the island of Crete in Greece, but also in other Greek islands and mainland Greece as well. There are two types of lyra also that play different according to the music they play. Another string instrument they use that is being used a lot is the violin, of course, as many other cultures throughout the world, and as the culture we'll see in the following episode. So we have also violin in different kinds of music, especially in the music from the islands and other parts as well. Another string instrument that is also appears is the lauto, the lute, which in Turkey it's oud, which because it's without frets. In Greece they use it with frets. They also use oud as well, but lauto or lute has more of a rhythmic role in the pieces, and you can also find that very much in Cretan music, as I mentioned before, but also in music from mainland Greece. And another very important string instrument that is very dominant in Greek music is the bouzouki, or tsouras, or baglamas. These are the three variations of this instrument, which is a three double string instrument. On the later year it became four string as well. And this is an instrument that plays melodies that a lot of songwriters were using to compose songs. In the Rebetiko era, in the 20th century, this was like the main instrument of that era, all main composers were playing these instruments and writing songs on this instrument. And there's the smaller version which is called baglama, the dzuras, which is like the medium brother of this family, and the bouzouki, which is the larger one. Besides string instruments, there are also wind instruments. The clarinet, for example, is very famous in the music from the Epirus region in North Greece and in other parts as well, and in the island music as well. But clarinet is really an important instrument for Greek music. There's also the zurnas, which is also from the north, which is a double reed instrument that is also found a lot in Turkish music actually, which is usually accompanied by davul, which is a big percussion instrument, and the two of them usually play in weddings and other rituals from this era. So it's really, I would say, I always describe this music with the davul and zurnas really primal. It's something really ancient being heard. There's the gaida, or like the bagpipe, which is also, this is also very famous in the Balkan region as well, which is a huge husk of sheep, basically, that you fill it with air and then you blow it. You blow the air using your hand, and then you play the melodies on something like a recorder. So the air goes through the pipe into the instrument, and then the sound comes out. Many percussion instruments, darbukas, davul, like I mentioned before, different kind of frame drums, and also in the Balkan region they use a lot of brass instruments as well. They use trumpets, they use euphoniums, tubas. They are very famous for their brass orchestra, where essentially they play similar music, let's say, but with brass instruments. And of course in Turkey there are also other string instruments like the saz and or the ney as a wind instrument. And the main difference between the saz and the bouzouki, let's say in this case, that they are very similar, is that the saz can play microtones. It can play smaller intervals than the semitone that we know in the piano. Whether on the other hand, dzuras or bouzouki plays semitones. It's like playing the piano or playing the guitar. The saz in this case works like that, and also the ney. And many more. This is just to name a few, so you can get an idea of how, what instruments are being used in this region of the world that I am talking about. And of course, human voice. There's a lot of songs that there's a singer. There's even polyphonic singing in certain parts of Greece and the Balkan region, where choirs, a cappella choirs are singing polyphonic, basically musical structures, and so on and so forth. It's a very rich culture in many ways, as you can see it, and you can find many differences just by moving from one small place to the other. We don't need to travel from Cuba all the way to Greece to find difference. We can go from a small island in the Dodecanese region and then just take a small ferry boat to the next island, and you can already see a lot of differences. But I'm not gonna focus on these differences right now. What I'd like to focus is to see one of the special characteristics of this music, which is rhythm. Rhythm, as the most common rhythms that we found, and also this is related also with the Cuban culture I talked before, and even the Indonesian culture, are rhythms that are rounded around the number 4. So it's 4/4, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or in Cuba they cut this into 2, so it's 2/2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Of course there's the clave and all the other stuff we talked about, but the essential meter is 2. In the island of Bali that I talked before, it's 8, which again 2 times 4. So it all works within this time structure. And popular music, of course, that we know is using this kind of time structure. Rock music, all these musical genres, electronic music, most of them are based on this 4/4 pattern. One of the astonishing things, I will say, that we found in this region is the fact that there is 4/4, of course, and there are different variations of 4/4, but there are also other time signatures that are used very common in many songs. As common as we have 4/4, the same common is 7/8 or 5/8 or 9/8 or even 11/8, 10/8, 13/8, you name it. There are different kinds of rhythmical patterns that also are related with dance, of course. So each rhythmical pattern have their own kind of dance and their own kind of movement. I don't know if you ever had the opportunity of being in a Greek wedding or a Turkish wedding, or I don't know, a wedding from someone from the Balkan region, and they were playing some strange kind of music that you couldn't dance to. Well, this is because of rhythm, because the rhythmical structure of a piece is different. Therefore, if you were going to dance, the movements would be different as well. You have other strong points and other weak points. It's not like the common 4/4. So let's start by looking at some of these patterns. The first one I would like us to see is the 5/8. So the 5/8 has two different variations. The first variation is 2/8 plus 3/8, and the second one is 3/8 plus 2/8. In other words, I will be using claps to count everything. And this is something you can also do in case you hear this music, or if you find yourself somewhere that you hear this music live, you can always clap with the music to feel the rhythm. So the 5/8 with 2 plus 3 would be 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. So as you can see, the second one is longer than the first one. It's like 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. And the other variation would be 3 plus 2. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. In this case, the first one is slightly longer. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. So let's take this now and let's listen to a piece of music, and let's try to clap with this piece of music. This has an intro. I will let you know when the rhythm starts. It started. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now I have shown you the pattern. I would like you to play the song and try to clap with it. So I hope you could follow the rhythm along with the piece to get this sensation of how the time works. Okay, let's see another division now. Let's see a very common one, which is 7/8, possibly the most common division, I would say, within all this region. So 7/8 has three different patterns. The first one is 2 plus 2 plus 3. The second one is 3 plus 2 plus 2. And the third one, which is not so commonly found, is 2 plus 3 plus 2. So let's start by doing a 7/8 in 2 2 3. So this would be 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Okay? Then the next one, the 3 2 2, would be 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And the last one, the 2 3 2, would be 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So these are the three variations of 7 8, and of course it can be very fast. Could be like 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Could be slow. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, etc. Depending on the music we listen to. So for this reason, I would like us to try 3 different examples. The first example would be on the 2 plus 2 plus 3. And I think my cat would like to join us as well. One, two, one, two, one, two, three, 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 one, two. One, two, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, one, two, one, two, three, one, two, one, two, one, two, three. Okay. So you saw the pattern now. Now it's time for you to try it. So now let's try a different 7/8 variation. Let's try the 3-2-2. And I will play a song. This is a very famous dance also that they use in Greece called Kalamatianos. And they dance it a lot in the islands and in that area of Greece as well. And this song is actually the dance. It's based on this rhythm called Kalamatianos. 3-2-2. Let's try it out first. Ready? 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, time for you to try it now.
Popopo, Maria, popopo, Maria, popopo, Maria, s'agapò. Popopo, Maria, popopo, Maria, popopo, Maria, s'agapò. Μήλο μου κόκκινο.
So, let's try now another division of 7. Sorry, I mean the same division of 7 but with a different music. A little bit different tempo just to see how it feels with a different tempo as well. So, the division is again 3, 2, 2, but the feel is much different. So, you can try it out. One, two, three, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 is faster. It's music from a different region of Greece. One, two, three, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, you try it now. Play it from the start and try to clap with the music. Another rhythm that we have, it's the 9/8. And the 9/8 has a lot of variations, as you can think about, because the larger the number goes, the more permutations we can have. But we're not going to see all of them, we're just going to see two basic ones. And the first one is 2, 2, 2, 3. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the other one would be 3, 2, 2, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's try to clap them. First one, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the other one, 3, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's try now to clap with a song. We will use the 2, 2, 2, 3 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Time for you to try now. Play the song from the start and try to keep this rhythmical pattern.
Σύρε να πεις τη μάνα σου να κάνει κι άλλη γένα, να κάψει κι άλλου νου καρδιά ως έκαψε και
So another rhythmical variation is the 11/8. This very commonly found in in northern Balkans. I mean, northern from Greece. So in Bulgaria you have this a lot, in Romania you have this a lot, and so on. So an 11/8 pattern that we will use to try, we'll try two different variations. One is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. And the other one would be 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Similar like the 9 variation we had before. Let's try the first one. 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. I will try counting again because it's fast. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the other one, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. One way of counting this easier is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And now let's try to clap with a song. This is a song from Bulgaria. This is 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. you try a song. As you see, the longer the numbers, the more complicated it becomes, but it's all a matter of just getting used to it. So when you hear music now, if you are interested in this kind of music, try to identify the time signature, or if you cannot identify, just ask someone and then try to club with it, and then it becomes internal. The more time, it becomes internal. So the last example I'd like us to see, it's a more complicated one, but because it combines two of the previous rhythms we talked about. So this is the 16/8, and the 16/8 it consists of 9/8 plus 7/8. So in this case it would be 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 2 2 2 3 2 2 3 2 2 2 3 2 2 3. So we must always think two rhythms, like 9 7 9 7 9. It's not all the time constant, but when we get this internal, then the piece flows. So let's try to club the rhythm first. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. And now let's try it with a song. One two one two one two one two three one two one two one two three one two one two one two one two three one two one two one 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1. One, two, three, 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right, now this is a challenge. I'd like you to do it and see how far you can keep up with this rhythm. It's a hard one, but if you enjoy listening to the music, of course, which is very beautiful music, you can also hear some brass instruments that I mentioned before, then you will make it happen. So. So this brings us to an end of this chapter. Of course, there are many rhythms we haven't talked about. There's a 10/8, there's 9/8 with different variations, there's 13/8, there's a lot. But I'd like you to keep it until here for this chapter. And I would like to invite you to browse in the internet and try to find music from this area and try to identify which is the time signature and also club with it. And of course, if you like dancing, there are also the choreography of each rhythm. I am not in the position to show you, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can find information for that as well. So, hope you enjoyed the travel in this region, and see you in the next chapter for something completely different.